College, a place that high school students look forward to going to, where they can have more freedom, away from their authoritative parents, and can also adopt the roles and responsibilities of an adult, also while having the freedoms of an adult. But what happens when all of these pressures become too much to handle? What happens when maintaining a perfect image on a daily basis becomes so overwhelming that you need an escape? In some students' cases, they result to suicide. Specifically in the case of Timothy Hamlet, he chose to jump from the George Washington Bridge into the Hudson River. The stereotype of what suicide looks like is not really what it is. The image of who will complete suicide is so different, and I'm learning that now. Frank Hamlet, Timothy's mother, states this in the American Tonight 2015 article, "Following a wave of campus suicides, a victim's family fights for change." Would you be unaware of your students' change in mood or actions if they were falling down this path of suicide, as Frank Hamlet did regarding her son? After all, suicide is the number 2 cause of all college deaths across the nation. Hamlet's family and others fight for a change in these suicide policies at the University of Pennsylvania. In my speech, we are going to first look at the pressures that these students undergo while they're in college on a regular basis at the university. Next, we are going to look at the University of Pennsylvania's initial reaction to this string of suicides at their university. And lastly, we are going to look at their current actions that they are taking in order to improve their policies regarding these suicides. First of all, we're going to look at the pressures that students undergo on a daily basis. In the case of Timothy Hamlet, as a freshman at the University of Pennsylvania, he started out as a track star. He was loved by everyone. He was recognized by his teachers, also by his track coaches, of his abilities academically and athletically. During his sophomore year at the University of Pennsylvania, his attitude towards school and his family began to deplete. He started skipping track practice and eventually stopped going to practice altogether and was cut from the team. His mother pulled him out of school as a last-ditch effort to save her son and give him a leave of absence. That year, they celebrated Christmas as usual as a family, and the next day, Timothy left them and would never return. Timothy's case is not the only one throughout the nation, and of course not the only one at the University of Pennsylvania. In order to further understand the minds of these students prior to committing these acts, we are going to look at a suicide note left by Madison Holleran, another student of the University of Pennsylvania. And in this note that you can find in the Cosmopolitan 2015 article, Family Releases Suicide Note of the University of Pennsylvania student on the anniversary of her death, you can get inside her mind when she states that, and I quote, "The other day I spoke to a man who was literally talked off the ledge of the Golden Gate Bridge. He was just moments away from jumping. He told me that when he looked at the water, all he saw was peace. I wonder if this student saw peace in the cement that she viewed before she plummeted from the top of a parking garage at the University of Pennsylvania, which is how she herself committed suicide." Hamlet and Holleran are 2 of many students across the nation who commit suicide throughout the year. Students are overwhelmed by everything that they have to deal with, and we now are going to discuss Hamlet and others' actions that they try to take regarding the college policies. Frank Hamlet, Timothy's mother, teams up with a student who currently goes to the university, who I will refer to as Con. Con gives us an insight on a term that these students use at the university that references the students' kind of mask of perfection that they put on a daily basis. This mask that they use is called the Penn face. This term may seem odd to you, but as noted by Skeltfo in her 2015 article, Suicide on Campus and the Pressure of Perfection in the New York Times magazine, the students of Stanford also refer to this mask as perfection as something else. They call it the duck face, which is much similar to the Penn face. Con and Hamlet want to speak to the university directly about pursuing their Hamlet Reed Mental Health Initiative, which consists of 6 different initiatives to improve the college's policies regarding psychological and mental health. They are turned down by the president of the university and the leader of the psychological department at the university. They state that their schedules are booked weeks and months to advance. This brings up the question, are students supposed to schedule appointments 2 months in advance because they might be depressed during that time? This is one of the many questions that Con and Frank Hamlet wish to get answers to that they never receive. Next, we are going to discuss current actions taken by UPenn in order to fix their mental health policies regarding their students. First step they take is they develop a task force. This task force solely focuses on the students' Penn face. The task force notes in the article, after 6 suicides, the University of Pennsylvania takes a tough look at its campus's culture by Casey Fabris of the Chronicle of Higher Education, that although the university has made some changes on its mental health resources, such as reducing the wait time for non-crisis counseling and creating a 24/7 help hotline, that the bigger problem is persuading the students to actually use these resources. The bigger problem is again referring to the students' Penn face. This university has also agreed to work with the JED Foundation. This is a non-profit suicide prevention group. They will work with the university for 4 years in improving their psychological department's policies. They also force the college to make self-assessments and to keep their education between students competitive, but also making the students realize that they have a responsibility of each other regarding each other's mental health. Also noted in the same article by a senior at the university, he does believe that the foundation has improved the students' communication with one another about their own mental health. Penn has come a long way since denying their comments regarding the suicides. Students still struggle with pressures on a daily basis, and we have discussed those pressures. We have also discussed the fight to improve these policies, and as well as the current action of the university to fix these policies. Students struggle on a daily basis. The university can only do much to reduce these struggles and pressures placed on the students. The students themselves must also reduce their own pressures that they place among themselves on a daily basis. As well said by Jared Greenhouse in the Huffington Post 2015 article titled, "Why Social Perfection Can Be Toxic for College Students' Mistakes." Mistakes don't mean you're a failure. They don't mean that you've done something wrong. They're an opportunity to improve, and they're an opportunity to learn and gain a sense of resilience and adaptability. Mistakes are what help you grow. So learn from them and grow in your life and become a better person, and don't let them weigh on you so heavily on a regular basis.